All right, everybody, here we are again. Oh man, I am so sorry. This moving stuff is for the birds. I'll tell you that right now. And I don't mean the Roger McGuinn led birds either. Always powered by coffee each and every time. So you know what? I'm going to let you guys know the truth. Part 2 of the 45 finds. I might be able to get to it, I might not. So till then, how about we do a part 2 of concert stories? Yeah, it seems like some of you guys liked the first batch I gave, so I'm going to give you a second batch here. I don't know if I'll be as long-winded, but who knows, right? So I got to apologize. From the first video, there was a couple 80s concerts I actually did miss in the to tell you guys about. I went to a Christian college in 85, 86 to study to be a minister for the Lutheran Church. Yeah, most people don't know that. So mighty Psycho factoid, I would have been the Reverend Midas Psyko. Now, I don't know. So the thing is, though, is that we were a very decent college, and I had a decent set of friends, and I ended up going to a bunch of Christian concerts, as well as some other ones. I'll tell you in a second here. The first one that I remember going to, and with these guys, this would have been in late '85, early '86. I can't quite remember. Phil Keaggy, who started his secular career, music career, in the late 1960s in a band called Glassharp from Ohio, Decca Records. They did a couple albums on Decca. I don't have any of those. I would love to find some of those. But needless to say, Phil ended up becoming a Christian and made some wonderful, oh my God. The guitar work that he does is so beautiful. He ended up going to Wheaton College in Wheaton, Illinois. He did a gig. It was him and 3 guitars. No band. It was him, 2 different electrics, and an acoustic. And I cannot remember what electric that he had made it sound like a violin. I started lightly weeping because it just hit me. I'm like, what the hell? I did not see that coming. But I've been a lifelong fan of Phil. I don't keep up to date, but one of the things in my signed album collection is a beautifully signed album of Play Through Me, which is actually one of my favorite Phil albums. I couldn't go to this gig in Williams Bay, Wisconsin. They were opening up a Christian youth center attached to a church. But I gave a donation to the church, and he signed it beautiful. There was like maybe a whole paragraph on that signed album. To me, it was awesome. It meant a lot. So that was my second Christian concert. The next one that I went to, Larry Norman, but that one was in Indiana. I want to say Valparaiso, but I'm not sure. Larry Norman's something else, very underrated. He got his start in the late 1960s band People. The song I Love You was their biggie, and then shortly afterwards he left that band. There was some inner turmoil, I guess I'm led to believe. And he started out on his own. To me, he was kind of a thinking man's Christian, if you think about it. Some of the messages he brought into those songs made you think about your beliefs and the world itself. If you don't know who I'm talking about, go listen on YouTube. Seriously, I think you would appreciate most of his stuff that he did, 70s and early 80s, was his period to shine. But it was very nice to see Larry Norman. He's gone now, unfortunately. But so he was another one. Now, my first hair metal concert. I almost forgot all about this because I told you guys about the other ones in the first part. I think it was March or May of '86. I remember that much. Still going to the Christian college, but I ended up with a buddy of mine that turned me on to a lot of heavy metal and hair metal. I know, right? Kind of strange. I ended up, this is going to be TMI for some of you people. What did Paul learn in Christian college? Sex, booze, and music. That's it. I'm ashamed. Anyways, so I ended up going, though, to my first hair metal, heavy metal concert. Was in the spring of '86, we'll call it that, at the Bismarck Theater, which was attached to the Bismarck Hotel in downtown Chicago. The opening act, Armored Saint. Yes, Armored Saint was the opening act. And the headliner, Stryper. Yes, I am a Stryper fan. I don't keep up with all of it, but those first couple albums that were on Enigma, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That particular one was sold the Soldiers Under Command tour for the second album. And me and my buddy had front row balcony. And in a way, I'm glad we did, because I looked down to see that it was general seating for anybody on the main floor, the ballroom per se, okay? And it was so hot down there in that ballroom, they carried out, I'd say, at least 3 or 4 women, seriously. They just kept moving them up to the front of the stage and got them out. When Armored played, it was a short set, too, by the way, for a couple reasons. I guess they were supposed to play an hour, but instead, I think it was like 30, 35 minutes. People kept yelling, Stryper, Stryper, while Armored was playing. There was, I've smelled marijuana before, but that was the first time in mass in a concert that I ever did. I'm like, God, there's a lot of people lighting up for this, Stryper's supposed to be the Christian band, but, everybody was lighting up during this. You could smell it at least all through the balcony, definitely. And, but they had enough. After about 30, 35 minutes, they went off and what was it? Oh, God, my head hurts. John Bush? Do I got that right? The guy that ended up from Anthrax, the second singer, I think was in Armored. So, yeah, I got to see Joey play. Yeah, before he died, I think. And, but Sean went off and he's just obscenity-laden. Obscenity. I mean, he's like, F this, F that, screw you people. He goes, the fans that wanted to see us, we thank you, and go to the side of the building. We'll meet you we'll meet you in a few minutes. That's what he said. And he goes, to the rest of you, F off. And I'm like, well, that's kind of rude. I mean, I understand. I mean, yeah, opening bands get a lot of that treatment, don't they? I mean, maybe back then they did. So that's the holes in the concert story from the 80s that I missed. Going to, what is it? Kansas, Don McLean. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there was any other 90s gigs. I missed a few 90s gigs, I'll tell you that. So 2000, we get through the Kiss gig. Like I said, that was pretty awesome. But then I don't go to another concert till 2002 because, well, I went through a separation. I was getting, the start of the second divorce. I've been married 3 times. 3 tours of duty, kids. All right, so, and I remember my buddy Jason, he had a spare pair of Milwaukee Summerfest tickets. And so I never went to Milwaukee Summerfest. That was the first time. That was actually the only time I got to go. But so the thing is that he's like, screw it, you're half depressed. Let's go. You got nothing else better to do, which he was right. So we get to the book and we're looking for that day. We get in and he's like, okay, B-52s. I'm like, yeah, there's got to be something better. Not knocking the B-52s, but I'm like, there's got to be. And he goes, Blondie? I'm going, you're getting warmer. And then he goes, Ted Nugent? And I'm going, Nugent's here? I screamed at him. I go, Nugent's here. And he's like, who's that? I'm going, oh, my God. I said, you know who it is. You just don't know it yet. So that's what we decided. We were going to go see Ted Nugent, Summerfest. That night, Bad Boy from Milwaukee was opening. Bad Boy is an awesome band. If you don't know who Bad Boy is, that's okay, but go look on YouTube. You will not be disappointed. They've been around since the 70s. They're still around. And Steve Grimm, the guitar player, awesome guitar player, and Zeno Hogan, the original Cheap Trick singer, is in Bad Boy. He's been in Bad Boy since at least, 99, 2000, roughly, I'd say. So they opened, and that was the first time I got to see Bad Boy. And Bad Boy and Nuge did not disappoint. We were like, it was general seeing, but we were second row, maybe you could say. So much so that Nugent saw that my buddy was trying to make out with this girl, and he had a raccoon tail, Nugent did. And with the guitar, he points, and he's pointing to me about him. And so I go to Jason, I'm like, hey, Jason, I said, Nuge is pointing at you. And so he smiles the shit-eating grin, and he was looking at me, goes, wow, you know, like he's going to get some tail. And I'm going, oh, God. So that cracked me up. But before that, though, we had time to roam the grounds. We had time to roam the grounds and check out the other stages. We got to see Seven Dust. We saw a Seven Dust part of their show. Seven Dust was awesome in '02. I'll tell you that. The one that was the surprise, and I'm so happy that I got to see this. There wasn't that many people, maybe 15 or 20 people around the lip of the stage, or maybe the first chair, because, you know, there was some seated areas, but there some wasn't, okay? So there was 20 people, we're going to say, okay? And there was this trio. I remember 3 people up there. And the guitar player was just so awesome. And I'm just like, I'm staring at this dude, you know, like going, my God, how is he doing this? Young kid, well, young to me anyway. And I couldn't figure out who it was. So there was this kind of stoner hippie dude next to me. And I asked, who is this guy? And he goes off and he goes, wow, man, this is going to be a lousy impression. Wow, man. That's Joe Bonamassa, man. I'm like, Joe Bonamassa? I never heard of Joe Bonamassa. And I'm like, and I turned to Jason, I go, Joe Bonamassa. I said it, if this guy doesn't end up, this is the second time I ever said this, if this guy doesn't end up being famous, I'll be amazed. Lo and behold, Joe Bonamassa. Black Country Communion, solo stuff. I love Bonamassa. Bonamassa came down here in the spring, in the fall here, I think it was. And I wasn't able to go. But I got to say that I saw Bonamassa in 2002 at Milwaukee Summerfest. So that was that one. And then, FYI, I didn't get to go to the other nights. It turned out Jason got to go, okay? So he did me a favor. Well, okay, at the Nugent gig, we bootlegged part of that show. I still have it on cassette, on a Walkman. So I got he forgot to flip the tape. He got so busy with the girl, if you know what I mean. So the first 45 minutes of the Nugent gig from Summerfest, I've got. He goes the next night. Judas Priest is there. I can't remember what stage. They weren't on the main stage for some reason. But he got pretty close to Judas Priest over there. This was when Ripper Owens was in the band, though, not Rob. And he actually taped the first 45 minutes of that gig with Ripper. And I still have that cassette. I need to process this stuff. Of course, I can't put it on YouTube. They'll nail me for it. But I've heard it, and it was pretty friggin' awesome. But, of course, he forgot to flip the damn tape over. I'm assuming because he saw some other girl. Jason was a horn dog. Anyways, so that's 2000. That's 2002. I'll leave you with one last story because this is going to go for a while. 2003, winter of 2003. Wonder Lake, Illinois. Small-ass town. It really is. It's an east side and a west side. There was this new bar / catering joint right on the main drag. And I'm like, now this is 2003, mind you. And I'm like, grand opening, Molly Hatchet. Now, I like Molly Hatchet. I met my father at a Molly Hatchet concert, but we didn't talk due to respect for the music. That's a Donnie Baker joke from Bob and Tom. So the thing is that Molly Hatchet's there. Now, I'm one of these weird people. Maybe some of you are too. I check the lineups of the bands before I go. And I do belong to the official Molly Hatchet page, and they would probably lambaste me. But in my defense, in 2003, I didn't know about the Bobby Ingram drama, okay, like I do now. I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want no slanderous lawsuit. But the band, even though no original members, John Galvin was the oldest recording member, going back to 83. If I remember correctly, he was on the No Guts, No Glory album. That's where he started. And John was the one I ended up talking to afterwards. I ended up talking to John. I ended up talking to Phil McCormick, who was the singer that came in late 95 after Danny Joe Brown left. So, but the show was pretty awesome, to tell you the truth, for what it was. Looking back on it now, I mean, I did get the band's autographs for what there were. Molly Hatchet now, in essence, is still a tribute band. John's still it. Dave Holbeck, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, he's a guitar player. He comes in and out, but I'm told he's sick sometimes. But he's the only original member when he does play. It's a power play thing. It's really strange. But we're going to leave it off at this one because I long-windedly talk again. It's 16 minutes long, and I only made it to 2003. Do you like these? If you do, tell me in the comments. And once again, if you didn't put anything in the comments before, tell me a favorite concert story, or maybe a concert disappointment, or did you meet one of the band members after a concert? Tell me a little story about this stuff. Is there going to be a part 3? You're damn right there's going to be a part 3. It could be tomorrow for that matter, too, for all I know. So take care, God bless, rock on, and see you next time.